Everyone, and this is Anne Quinn,
Yes.
and you're welcome. How are you, Anne?
Thank you very much.
And James McAreavey of the Newry Maritime Association.
Good morning, Ron.
It's good to see you. This is a major community initiative, and it's remembering the tragedy of the family in Newry, the Byrne family, who were lost, 4 members lost, as a consequence of asphyxia following coal gas poisoning. Tell us briefly the story, James.
Well, it'll be 61 years to the day, Rowan, tomorrow, the 7th of December, since that tragedy was visited on the tight-knit community of Thomas Street and Pool Lane. 52 houses, and on Sunday the 7th of December, as Anne will tell us, tragedy struck. 4 members of the family, the mother, 2 sons in their 30s who were dockers, and Mrs. Byrne's unmarried sister, Catherine Rice, were found dead in the house, and they had been overcome with gas.
Yeah, and that from the coal fire, that gas. Had they the fire in a bucket or something, or what was the story?
Oh, no, Rowan. It was town gas.
Town gas?
Yeah.
Wow.
It was the supply in the house. And
Yes.
the problem, as Mrs. Quinn will tell you, is people at that time had a tradition at weekends when they got paid or whatever, they topped the meter up. And so there was an abundance of money in the Burns' meter, and the gas kept pumping out.
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
So local neighbours then, after Mrs. Quinn raised the alarm, local neighbours broke into the house, among them Peter Crown's father, Paddy.
Yeah.
And they discovered the 4 bodies, and as you can see,
the
terrible
funeral
tragedy.
there. Yeah. And you were one of the first people, one of the first neighbours into the house. What did you see?
I wasn't in the. I didn't go into the house.
What did
no.
you see?
Well, my grandmother and I went to mass every Sunday morning, 10 o'clock mass in the Dominican, and when we came home at that time, you had a fast from midnight, and we came home and had our breakfast, and she lived straight across from us, and I looked out through the window and I said, "There's something wrong in Burns's," and my granny says, "Why?" I said, "The blinds are not drawn yet." And started and had our breakfast, and I still repeated I thought there was something wrong in Burns. And she says, "Well, to satisfy your curiosity, why did you go over and ask the neighbour, is there anything wrong?" That's exactly what I said.
Yeah.
And I went over, and the neighbour is Bridie Corrin. And I said to Bridie, "Is there anything the matter with the Burnses?" She says, "Not that I know of." When I said, "They haven't the blinds drawn yet." And it's not like them, because they've always went to mass at 7 o'clock mass in the cathedral. And there used to be a mass in the cathedral for workers, you see, at that time. And she went and to her neighbour, and they went to the back door, do you see, and they could get no response. And they went, Mrs. Karen's husband and Leo Voy broke in the door, and then they discovered that the 4 bodies.
Yeah.
One was lying on the stairs, one was lying in the bedroom on the floor, and the other 2, the aunt and the mother, was in bed.
And that would have been gas, James, that was manufactured at the gas works. The gasometers used to go up and down, up and down.
That's right.
Made out of the coke and the coal, and there came the coke from that.
Where Intertrade Ireland is today, on the Warren Point Road.
I remember the gasometers, as you would, of course.
But it was the worst, and is the worst domestic tragedy ever in Newry. 4 members of the one family. And the thing about it is that it was such a close-knit community then. Mrs. Quinn talks about the income of the street was derived from either the port through dockers, as the Burns brothers were, or seamen or mill workers. And Queenie was a worker in the mill in Bestbrook.
Who are you, Queenie?
And a weaver.
You're a weaver.
Yeah.
It's a joy to meet a weaver, I tell you. Have you good memories of those days, or were they too difficult to be pleasing?
Well, you had to serve your time to it. I served my time to Damask reading.
To Damask?
Damask, you don't remember Damask
I
cloth?
do, surely.
Served my time.
Yeah. And what sort of things were made out of the damask?
Tablecloths, bedclothes, towels, even handkerchiefs were made.
You know, isn't it funny? You did that how many years ago?
Oh my goodness. Well, let's see. I worked
50?
I worked up till I was 56.
Yeah.
From I was 14 till I was 56.
My gum. Well, you know, I'm going to tell you, it's a very strange world. Because 5 years ago in the south of India, I went into a weaving mill. And women in the south of India were doing exactly what you were doing at your mill in Newry more recently.
That's strange.
Or further back. Isn't that amazing? The world's a small place.
It is a small world.
Anne Rowan, she had 5 shillings a week, 25p, and out of that she paid her fare on the Bestbrook tram and provided her own lunch.
My God. Have you good memories of the Bestbrook tram?
My goodness. Many time in the winter.
Yes.
The tram was worked by electric on the ground now, but no, it was over the tram.
Yes.
And if the frost, even if it was a wet day, the tram wouldn't go. You would have to start walking the line to take into Bestbrook.
And maybe it would catch up with you.
Which is a strange thing, there's no end to that line. From that train, a tram, went from Newry to Bestbrook, back in again, in the shape of a net.
My gum.
The tram,
Just kept going round all the time.
There's no end to that line.
Yeah. Were you disappointed when the tram ended?
Well, it cost more comfort in the bus.
More comfort in the bus. A good decision.
You had
a good
to walk.
decision.
It's bad way you hadn't to walk.
Yeah.
More comfort in the bus.
James, it's very much part of what you do in the Maritime Association to remember cataclysmic and other events of Newry over the years. And we're now beginning to see great progress in Newry's past being remembered. Why is that important?
Well, Rowan, it creates a sense of identity. It gives us, we hear a lot about the carbon footprint. This is a civic imprint. It gives a sense of ownership, identity. It makes people proud of where they come from and who they are.
And we know who the Ulster History Circle is taking up in the story because you're about to unveil 2 plaques. They are of Max
Blaney.
Max Blaney is one, and the other is Robert Kelly.
Raymond Kelly.
Yeah, Raymond Kelly.
Yeah.
One a seaman, the other a soldier.
That's correct.
Yeah.
We see here.
Tell us about Max.
Well, we see here a soldier. He was actually a bomb disposal officer, the loneliest job in any army.
Yes.
Tended to work on his own. Was regarded as a very meticulous and careful officer. As you can see, he was killed in 1940 on the 13th of December.
Yeah.
And he was buried in Newry on Christmas Day, 1940.
My God. And the GC gives us the hint that he was more than an ordinary soldier.
Well, Rowan, just for the viewers to put it in perspective, we have a joint population in these islands between Ireland and England of approximately 67 million. 161 of those people have a George Cross. 2 of those individual awards are in the north of Ireland, and both of those awards are on either side of Dublin Bridge, just where you yourself grew up and spent your formative years.
Yeah. But isn't it wonderful? Even you can see the facial similarity in the Blaneys of today.
That's correct and right.
No doubt about
and of course, Michael Blaney, the principal of Autoline Insurance, is named after his uncle.
Ah, yes. Goodness gracious. And also Robert Kelly.
Yeah, I think we'll have a caption of
here he is.
Here
Thomas
he is.
Robert GC, George Cross.
Again, 1928, went to sea from River Street, a young child, 14 years of age. His father died, leaving the mother pregnant with the surviving brother, Bill John.
Yes.
And Raymond saw his role as breadwinner, and he went to sea with fishers originally on the Rowan. And he was on a voyage from Rio de Janeiro back to the UK when his ship answered a distress call in the Bay of Biscay from another foundering ship.
Yes.
When they got there, there was a lifeboat had overturned, and young Kelly dived in and saved a man. He went in a second time and saved a second man, and on his third foray to pull a woman out, he himself succumbed, and both were lost. Tragically, his body was never recovered.
Yeah. Well, it rests in the greatest graveyard of all.
Yes.
In the bosom of the ocean.
Yeah.
There's no two ways about it. So the people respond, the Ulster Hills History Circle, they give you great credit because you drew this to their attention.
Well, we had a presentation, Rowan, on the 15th of November 2011 in Buttercrane Centre, and Newry and Mourne Council made presentations to both families. And it was shortly after that I approached the History Circle, and they said that if the men satisfied the criteria, which I knew there would be no problem, there was also just a matter of the waiting list. And that is coming to fruition tomorrow. Now, it's also a first for the History Circle because since their inception in 1983, this will be the first time that they have done a double unveiling in the same location at the same time.
Wow. Well done, James.
So
it's a great credit to you and
well,
to
it's
your
an honour.
organisation.
It's an honour to these men. It's an honour that's long overdue, and I think it brings great credit and great publicity to our sometimes much maligned area.
Oh, indeed.
Because we are better people than we are given credit to be.
Now you got it. Now you put your finger on it. You agree with that, Anne, without a doubt. Lady Anne, thank you very much, James, very much for coming in. You're very kind.
Thank you very much.
All the best.
Thank you very
Go
much,
well.
Rowan.
Take care.
And once again, thanks for the support from Destination Newry for our activities.
It's there constantly. We're keen on the canal and keen on all of the things that are happening. So that's very good. And away you go, Andrew. We'll play some music.